Welcome to Are You Ready? Hurricane Preparedness 2025. Today with me I have a very special guest. He is no other than the Mayor of San Pedro, Mayor Wally Nunez, and he also serves a very important role in the San Pedro EOC as the chairperson of the Transport and Evacuation Committee. Mayor Wally, welcome.
Thank you, Van. Thank you for having me here today. Very happy to join you so that we can inform the public of what is the EOC, what do we do, and our roles in the EOC.
Our aim is to educate, sensitize the public, the residents of San Pedro and Keycocker, the roles and the responsibility of the brave men and women who serve the San Pedro EOC. At the forefront of all of that is Mayor Wally Nunez. So Mayor, talk to us about who makes up the San Pedro EOC and what is your key role in the San Pedro EOC?
Well, in any emergency, as we all know that it is the responsibility of everyone, the San Pedro Town Council, well, of course, we are part of the EOC, all the councillors, including myself, and we also have all of our departments on call that are there to assist if there's any emergency or any type of natural disaster that is on our way, that we can all activate and we can all help and assist the best way possible.
Well said, Mayor. And let us elaborate or educate our residents a little when it comes to your role in the Transport and the Evacuation Committee. As we all know, Mayor, that we have two types of evacuation. There is the voluntary evacuation, where we ask people to voluntarily leave the island and seek safe shelter at or harbor way inland. And then there's the NEMO official coordinated evacuation. As we all know, there is no such thing as a mandatory evacuation. But can you kindly tell the public of your roles and your responsibility as the chairman of this committee in the NEMO EOC San Pedro?
Yes, definitely. We have to start planning on getting our residents out of the island to evacuate. As you rightfully said, there is no mandatory evacuation. We encouraged people to start to evacuate, and thankfully for most of the storms that have approached San Pedro, we have seen that they evacuate voluntarily ahead of time when there is time, because sometimes we've had some storms that don't give us as much anticipation and planning that we would like to have, but when there is time, people do evacuate. So when it comes to planning, we have the different airlines and the boats, different modes of transportation, whereby they assist us, and we have to make sure that we inform the general public as to what times they will be operating and what will be their cutoff time, so that we can inform the public as to evacuate at a certain time, and to encourage everybody who has family and friends in the mainland to be able to get to them and to leave the island as soon as possible.
Well said, Mayor. And I know one of the key things in our discussion, especially during our meetings, is our vulnerability. We're surrounded to the east by sea and to the west by lagoons. And we have to take into consideration just how vulnerable we are in San Pedro, especially when it comes to storm surges and tidal flooding as well. But Mayor, can you talk to us of your preparations that goes pre-hurricane, during hurricane, and post-hurricane with the San Pedro Town Council?
Yes, with the pre-preparation, we usually prepare all our departments. We have the building unit that is out there making sure that all the construction sites are secured, and they're securing all their material, which could be a projectile or something out there during a storm, high winds. And we also have the traffic department, guiding traffic around town and and their role is already set as well when it comes to transport. Then we also have the other departments like our sanitation crew ready to assist with the trucks. We also assist the different departments, like for example the polyclinic. We also assist NEMO, where whoever we need to assist at the time to be able to get if they need to be secured before a storm. But way before that, we usually meet with NEMO to be able to do these assessments and to make sure that the shelters are ready, to make sure that we are prepared ahead of time. Whenever there is a storm approaching Belize, being a threat to the island, we usually get together and have conversation with yourself, with with NEMO, so that we can have a committee meeting, an EOC, whenever we're going to activate, and then we call in everybody and we start to plan ahead with all the different departments.
I know that you enjoy being very hands-on when it comes to hurricane preparations. You even joined the shelter inspection team to go inspect our shelters to see that they're safe and they're secure for residents that may use our shelters, or that is a part of their family emergency plan for San Pedro, that they want to go into these shelters. And you are very, very much hands-on when it comes to all our committee meetings that we host pre-hurricane, during hurricane, and post-hurricane. So, Mayor, can you elaborate a little bit on your roles and on your role and your responsibility to the EOC during hurricane? Now that we're activated, we're in the EOC, can you tell our residents what it is like for you, for your council, for San Pedro NEMO EOC on a whole, and what is it that you would like to educate them during the hurricane?
Yes, during a storm, we are all on the active mode, and we are at the EOC 24 hours if we have to, and we're monitoring the storm, and so that we can inform the public as to what is going on, what is information, and giving official information to the public. That's the most important part, because there is a lot of fake news out there and we encourage people to listen to the official news from NEMO. We usually come to the station to be able to give the information, or to provide information to the general public as to the development of the storm, as to how it is going. If we have to go live and we can't come to the radio station, we would do a live video to inform the public.
Yes, you are right. And also, what another medium of communication that we use is the San Pedro Town Council. And your council is very much on hand and very much engaged when it comes to releasing the official advisories, when it comes to educating our residents, or informing or keeping them updated on the latest advisories being issued, or caution them what to do pre-hurricane, during hurricane, and post-hurricane. So, Mayor, can you kindly talk to us a little about what is the role the council plays post-hurricane? When we fly that green flag and we say it is all clear, what are the roles and responsibility for the San Pedro Town Council?
Definitely, part of our role is damage assessment.
Yes.
So we have to go out there and assess the damages in the different areas, hopefully, and we go out there and make sure that there is not much damage. How we can assist the general public in the cleanup. Most of the time we've had to be able to get our crew out and clean up as soon as possible so that everything starts to roll back to normal. But it does become quite a task, because there's, depending on the severity of the storm, sometimes we have a lot of debris, and you have BEL and the different companies that have to come out and assess the damage to their lines, power lines, and they have to connect back.
Yes,
so that
and
we
you
can
also have damages. You also the water company has to assess their damage as well, and so does BL. But the council plays a very crucial part in ensuring that there is immediate accessibility to
Right.
airports and to boat terminals as well. That's one of the main responsibilities of the council. Mayor, what would be the message that you would like to echo for the hurricane season 2025 to our residents of San Pedro, Keycaulker, and even beyond? What would be the message that you would like for them to take heed and caution to?
Well, every year when we start the season, we gather together as part of NEMO and start our planning, and that is on our end. But to the general public, you can start your planning at home.
Yes.
Start your evacuation plan, your planning at home as to what would happen to your pets, what would happen to your home, how you're going to secure your home. Everybody is responsible for securing their personal items. Let's have a plan ahead of time so that we can be better prepared in case there is any storm. Hopefully we don't get any, but we never know.
Yes.
So it's good to be prepared. It's good to be better safe than sorry, like how they say. So I would want to encourage the general public to be prepared. That's the main message. Let's all be prepared.
Have our family emergency plans in place. Now, Mayor, I know that you hold such big responsibility to our town, to NEMO, as you rightfully said. We are all NEMO. We all make up the San Pedro NEMO EOC. We all have duties to the residents of San Pedro. But I want to ask you now, as Wally Nunez, as a San Pedrano, what were your experiences in the past, say, to the two main hurricanes historically we always referred to when it comes to either Mitch or Keith? As a young man back then, what were your experiences that you could, elaborate on and tell our residents of what you experienced and why you take hurricane preparedness so serious and so important to you? Why? So tell us, Mayor, what was your experience?
During Hurricane Keith, Hurricane Mitch, I remember we all evacuated from the island, including myself, and I was very young. But during Hurricane Keith, I do recall that we went to shelter at my grandfather's house here in town.
Wow.
It's a part wooden, part concrete home with a zinc roof. And I remember that the wind was very, very strong, and it felt like if the house was trying to lift off.
Wow.
I do recall as well, there was a little casita that was at the back of the island. That time we used to call that area the Embarcadero.
Okay.
Right by where the water taxis, the international water taxis dock. That's where they had
Sacachispa area.
that area. Yeah,
Okay.
we had a little casita there. It was like a fisherman's casita there that actually fell on top of my grandfather's house. We thought
Wow.
it was gonna break the roof, and it landed right on the street in front.
Wow.
Maybe it was due to one of those whirlwinds, like a tornado, that pulled it up. When we got into the eye of the storm and it calmed down, and a lot of people started to come out, we left my grandfather's house and moved him because he was ill, and we had to back him and take him to my aunt's house on the
During
corner.
the eye of the
During the
storm,
eye of
when
the
there is a
storm.
calm, you experience a calm.
Yes.
When the eye is upon you, you experience a calm. And you and your family took that chance.
We took the chance and we went to my aunt's house,
Wow.
and there we were by the tortilla, well, It's now the other part of the tortilla factory, which is rocks.
Okay.
We were to the back, and the water had raised so high that the boats that were in the field, the Sacachispas field, if you recall at that time, used to come all the way to the wall of those buildings. And those boats were hitting the wall, and
Wow.
it sounded like if it was going to break it.
Wow.
We were in there during the storm. And I recall that when the storm was over and we walked out, it was horrible. It was like a war zone. Everything was broken down, no docks, homes destroyed. I thought that it would take many years before San Pedro could rebound and be back to how it was. But I can tell you that San Pedro has been very resilient, and we're all here to work and try to get back our island as soon as possible and as quickly as possible, especially for tourism. It was quite an experience. I don't know if I would want to experience it again, but I can imagine the other areas, lower lying areas, how they were. We were in the middle of town, and the water was all the way up here. You can imagine areas that are lower, how high that water rose. And we get some stories and from other people who were in those other areas where the water rose about 4 or 5 feet. So it is very dangerous, and honestly, I don't think anywhere here is completely safe.
Yes.
We try to find the safest places for the residents whenever it comes to sheltering. But if they can evacuate, it's better. In an island, it is quite difficult to say you are safe here.
That is true, Mayor. And even if, let's recall in 2016 when Earl hit, you were already living where you are right now, right in front of the beach, and Earl hit as a category 1, but the damage that it did to the entire east side of San Pedro. Could you recall what your experience was with Earl in 2016?
Yes, during 2016 I was at home, and I remember being on the beach. It's very, very loud. It sounds like if your windows are gonna break, even if you have plywood or any type of shutters. My dad had some plywood on the front of a sliding door, and it sounded like if it was pounding on the plywood. So it's very, very loud, and it's scary. It's scary, especially if it's at night. There is no light. It does become very scary, because you're not sure what can happen, or if it's going to intensify right before hitting. So
as it usually does. And if we can look at the pictures, and we've seen the pictures of what Earl did, I mean, it destroyed docks. People who didn't safeguard their vessels, well, they lost their vessels too. You had many homes on the island that was destroyed too. So, Mayor, with all that and your experiences and living out here and experiencing storms on this island, knowing, like I said, the vulnerability that we have with the sea at the east and the lagoon at the back, seeing the intensity of the storms in this present day, the floods, the storm surge that they bring with them, the floods that comes along with them, what would you like to say to those residents who are thinking of staying on the island during an approaching hurricane?
Well, it is quite alarming when you get to see a lot of people that want to stay. Maybe it's because they haven't had the experience. Maybe it's because of financial burdens, that whenever there is a storm that they would have to travel, and it is an expense. But staying here, you're risking your lives. Staying here, you are risking other people's lives. Because if there is a storm, if there is anybody who needs to rescue, you're risking their lives as well if the need comes to.
Well said.
So it is very important that we take that into consideration, that if there is time to leave, if there is an opportunity for you to leave and to be safer elsewhere, that you are more, I don't want to say guaranteed, because we never know how a storm might develop or go to another area.
True.
But you're in a safer area, in a safer zone than staying on an island. So a lot of people would want to stay because they say sometimes the storm doesn't come, sometimes it's just a Passover and it's not going to happen, nothing's going to happen. But why take the risk? Some others want to stay because they want to take care of their property or their house, their pets. But it's, you can take your pets, plan ahead, and you can leave. You can go to higher ground. You can go to the mainland, go to family, friends, wherever you are safer than staying here on the island. Another thing that I really want to bring out is that there's a lot of people that whenever there's a storm, they want to party.
Yes, Mayor, let's talk about this.
There is this thing that, we're going to have hurricane parties here and there. If there is a storm that intensifies, or if things get worse and you are in that level of intoxication, if I might say,
yes,
it could be worse for you, for your family. So we don't encourage that. We want everybody to be safe. So yes, our message is to plan ahead, and please move if you have to ahead of time.
Okay, there you have it with Mayor Wally explaining how serious these storms can be, how unpredictable they can be as well, giving us his past experiences with hurricanes out here, and asking the public, imploring to everyone to take caution, to plan ahead of time, and to not to take that risk by staying out here, but when they have that chance, for them to voluntarily evacuate the island, seek safer shelter inland with family and friends, like you said, and not to take that risk and stay on the island, as the hurricanes can become much stronger during impact on land.
But not only that, there is also a risk that if a storm is intensifying and later on they want to evacuate, there might not be any boats, any flights, any way of transportation that they can take to be able to leave the island.
And like you said, Mayor, no hurricane party.
Yes.
Right? No hurricane party. Because you only put yourself at risk, you put your family at risk. That's when we know domestic violence takes a spike too during times like that. And so the message today here, Mayor, is for us to tell the residents and for you to impart that caution to them to take heed, have their family emergency plans in place. I know, Mayor, we like to say we are blessed because the storm comes right in front of us, and then you see that they veer off towards Mexico going to the north. But for all the named storms for each year, it only takes that one storm to do catastrophic and devastating damage, as you recall in Hurricane Keith, right?
That's correct. And hopefully we don't get none this year.
Knock wood, Mayor, and fingers crossed we don't get any this year. Is there any last message that you would like to impart on behalf of the San Pedro Town Council as the Deputy Chairperson of the NEMO EOC and as the Mayor of San Pedro?
Well, as the San Pedro Town Council, myself, the councillors, our deputy, I want to ask the general public to be prepared, have your family plans, have your evacuation plans, have your plans as to where you can go in case there is a storm approaching, if you can go to family or friends in the mainland. When it comes to storms, it is everybody's business. We all have to be prepared. Yes, we as the council do our best, along with NEMO, along with the EOC, but at the end of the day, we're all responsible and we all have to be careful and prepared.
Thank you, Mayor Wally. As you rightfully said, emergency management is all our responsibilities. We all have a responsibility to ourselves, to our family, and to our community. Thank you, Mayor, for joining us today in the studio.